Turning now to reaction locally, shock, anger, and sadness, a wave of emotions from the South Florida community. WPTV's Cameron Eppinger just spoke with the CEO of the Urban League of Palm Beach County and joins us now with his reaction. Cam.
Hani, the brutal beating has led to unbearable grief for a young man's family. And once again, a new debate about police brutality and policing standards across the nation. After watching the video with Patrick Franklin, he stressed the need for change.
We need to change what's happening. We need to change the system. We have to change the way we're policing. We need to understand that that is unacceptable. That's not protecting and serving, not at all. That's killing. That's absolute killing, straight outright killing. And for that to be accepted in today's society, no, no. We just lost layers of trust with our law enforcement after you see something like that.
Now, Franklin did commend the Memphis Police Department and prosecutors for swift action, leading to arrest and charges against the 5 accused officers. He says this incident should set the standard for investigations in the future. Hani.
Cam, thank you. President Joe Biden issuing a statement in response to the video. The president says he's outraged and pained by it, calling what happened horrific and another painful reminder of the profound fear and trauma, the pain, the exhaustion that Black and brown Americans experience every single day. The president spoke to Tyree Nichols' parents earlier today, expressing condolences and saying violence is never acceptable. I want to turn now to more reaction from people in our community. WPTV anchor Michael Williams joining me now with that part of our coverage. Michael.
Honey, thank you. I talked tonight with Stuart Kaplan, a former FBI agent, now a defense attorney in our community. He too watched the full video of the brutal and ultimately fatal beating.
Brutal, barbaric, and truly a black eye on the entire law enforcement community. Mike, I have seen horrible videos in the past. I've seen that type of brutality. I have never seen a group of men acting in concert together with such brutality and such barbaric behavior.
Mr. Kaplan, there are an awful lot of good policemen and women out there, and you're the first one to say it. But this video reminds us that there are still those who are besmirching the names of those good policemen and women. How do we make sure people like that don't get on the force or don't stay on? What does it say about policing standards that must change?
Well, I've always advocated that I do think we need a unified, one-stop vetting process where whether you're going to be a police officer in Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, Kansas City, wherever, there's a unified vetting process to ensure that those candidates that want to become a police officer go through the same uniform background checks and psychological background checks, and to ensure that we're getting the best caliber people out there, whether they're going to work in Los Angeles, New York City, a small city, Memphis, have at it, whatever. I want to see unified standards.
Sir, one of the defense lawyers this week said, listen, the video does not necessarily tell the whole story. Does it to you?
It tells more of a story. And I'll tell you, Mike, you know what the most disappointing part of that video to me is? Listen, the brutality of the 5 guys beating this guy up, and obviously they killed him. That's bad. The worst part about the video is the other officers who come on scene. There's about 5 or 6 officers that come on scene that are summoned to the scene. Not one of them attempt to even render aid, find out what happened, de-escalate, do anything that any fellow human being would have done or what they were trained to do to at least make sure this guy had a survivable chance to live and to get aid rendered to him. All the responding officers, each and every one of them, should be fired and also prosecuted for not intervening.
Stuart Kaplan, defense lawyer, former FBI agent. Hani, as you said at the outset of the broadcast, 2 more officers who arrived on the scene after the beating, and you heard what Mr. Kaplan had to say, 2 more officers now relieved of duty pending an internal probe as the investigation widens.
I'm sure we'll continue this story as it develops for months to come. Thank you, Michael, for that perspective. Tonight, we also spoke with Richard Riles, the president of the Palm Beach Black Caucus. Riles says the manner in which the Memphis Police Department has handled the case is commendable. He says by moving expeditiously, holding the officers accountable, and now releasing the video has garnered some trust in the community and minimized the potential violence nationwide that may have followed. Riles, one of many who viewed the video out of Memphis tonight. Here's what he had to say.
From looking at the video, however, I see that there are other officers who likewise may be charged in the future as a result of their participation. The callousness of this act is deplorable, and as a parent, my heart really goes out to those, the parents of the young man who were killed, and I would pray that justice is served in this instance.